Yo, episode. Caesar, what's the episode? Come on now.
271.
272. We made it
Oh,
podcast.
272.
Yes, 272.
I'm really falling behind on numbers. This is getting ridiculous, dog. I'm running out of Portuguese numbers.
You're gonna have to remember the 300s
I've never said the number 272 in my life in Portuguese. That was the first ever.
or English.
Or English.
We have our illustrious third member. Holly's in the building.
Hello, hello. I don't know how to speak another language. I can't do that.
It's okay. You're speaking the King's English up there in Canada or something like that.
Man, now's the Kings.
Yeah. Careful. We made a podcast episode 272 back in the building. Got a lot to talk about. Sadly, we got to talk about racism because it's prevalent. But we'll talk about Caesar's not down for the racism talk. I'm not surprised. We'll talk about everything that happened with Vinicius Jr. over the weekend. We got some recent news about what Messi was demanding from Barcelona to stay there in 2020. That was interesting. Although I haven't looked to see if they said that was cap yet, and I'm not gonna. And also we might talk a little bit about Russia being banned from the Euros in 2 years.
Oh.
But we had a lot of drama over the weekend. I guess actually this drama kind of started on 9/11. Probably the most significant thing that's happened on that day. In the 24th minute of Real Madrid versus Mallorca, Vinicius Jr. was accused of showboating, I guess. Now before we get before we get into the racism talk, I had you guys watch that video on ESPN FC. How do you guys feel about quote unquote showboating? Or whatever they said Vinicius Jr. did? Caesar's gonna go off. I can see like that. It's building already. So Holly, you go first because Caesar's gonna go off.
I mean, are we talking about how we feel about what they're calling showboating or like in general in the game?
That one and then that one.
Okay. So it was a nutmeg, correct?
It seemed like he nutmegged him, but then it also seemed like maybe he just like got it around him kind of. But he was kind of holding the ball, and then somebody came and fouled him.
Okay, well, I mean, the showboating, I think in any sport, it's part of the game. First of all, I don't really consider, I guess there's different ways to look at it, but like it's a skill. And he did a move to get around a player or to deke out a player, and whether it works or whether it doesn't work, there shouldn't be any sort of repercussion or reciprocated act by a defender or by a team, or even now by the media, like them talking about it so intensely that it became this huge thing leading up to the game. Honestly, it was this whole, I think there was so much build up to this game that was like the one this past weekend versus Atletico that was so completely unnecessary, and everything that came out of it is like disgusting, because how many times are teams and players gonna have to go through this? But I know I wasn't really talking about showboating that much, but that was my little rant on it. Caesar, go ahead.
It's just like I don't know, like I don't like the sentiment of like old protection of like, it reminds me of American baseball. I don't like unwritten rules of the game. I don't like, especially when they're not meant to protect players. If there's unwritten rules of the game that's meant to protect players, then I get it. Like, it's like, hey, I don't do that to you because I don't want to hurt you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hurt each other or something like that. You know what I mean? But like, when you have unwritten rules to protect like some sanctity of like a game that's not locked, not from Spain, not only Spanish and not just for Spanish people. It's a worldwide sport. So when it's a worldwide sport, it's a culture, it's a sport for many different cultures. Different cultures play different types of games. They play a different style. They have different types of abilities and skills. That's the world sport. So when you hear like Spanish players and talking about, oh, well, like if this happens, it's gonna happen, then commentators say, oh, well, if they do this, he's gonna take one of these. I'm like, you don't get to impose illegal actions to defend a rule that doesn't exist. That's not how this goes down. Like, because if that happened in real life, then we wouldn't even, what would be the point of laws, right? Like the reason we have laws is to protect certain things. So you don't get to say, oh, well, if you nutmeg me, I'm gonna take you out next time. Like, and if you nutmeg someone, you don't get to do that because what you're doing is illegal. You're infringing upon rules set in place in the game. So if the rules don't matter, let me know, because that's a different discussion afterwards. And let's keep it real. I think it's extremely racist. I don't think there's any kind of merit based on any kind of like honesty or like fairness or equality when they come to these callouts. I never see nobody talk about Eden Hazard. Oh, if he nutmegs another dude like this, it's gonna be over for him. I've never seen discussions like this. It's always so funny that it has to be like, oh, like some black Brazilian player or another player for the country. It's always this weird discussion of like, is he over the top? Is he showboating? Is he flamboyant? Mind you, this is the same people that used to kiss the feet of Ronaldinho. So it's just weird how like there's exceptions to the cause. In that, and especially when their example was so lame. It wasn't even, if you watch the clip, there's nothing to go crazy about. Like, if it's not like in the 12th minute he's doing double rainbows on like people, and I'm like, goddamn dog, Jesus,
That'd be
like,
dope. That'd be dope.
That'd be dope. And I'm like, it's not a cup match, but like, I can't respect the gangster. Like, goddamn, not he's playing a league 4 team in Spain, like Serie C or something like that. It's just, it's a 24th minute. He nutmegged one dude and did a slow dribble back and like kept the guy off of him. That's showboating now. Like, is that what we're really defining as showboating? No, I just think that if you got a problem with it, take the ball from him. It seems like to me, you don't know how to teach how people to defend. You can stop people from nutmegging you. You can stop people from slow walking away with the ball, and that you don't have to cause an illegal foul or tackle or hurt somebody. There's been games where Neymar is able to do his stuff, and games where Neymar isn't able to do his stuff, and there's a reason for that. It's either he's off or there's good defense. So, and also, I'd rather the counterpoint be like, you can showboat all you want, but show me the time that showboating won you championships. Like maybe make it applicable to like, is it a successful style of soccer? That's a better discussion than being like, oh, do that around here, it's gonna lead to this. And then you have fans that are literally doing racist chants.
Well, we're getting into that. Hold on, your rant went too far. See, yeah. Okay,
no,
okay.
absolutely.
So Vinicius Jr. did not much of a move, not much of showboating. I think we all know that wasn't really showboating. And also, like going back to what Caesar said about the defending part, it's like if a dude is going backwards with the ball, why are you grabbing onto him? What are you doing? Just let him go backwards, dude. Like, don't waste your time. But anyway, so Vinicius Jr. did that, and then we had a young individual by the name of Pedro Bravo, who was on El Chiringuito television show in Spain. Yeah. And he said that Vinicius Jr. needs to stop playing the monkey. A lot of people were offended by that. And he ended up apologizing and said that he was using like a term, like he said he was basically using like an idiom, and it wasn't really the right one to use. Don't worry though. Richarlison of Tottenham Hotspurs did text him and was like, "Stop talking shit about my homie" or something like that. That's true. Richarlison said he texted homeboy about that.
How does this man have this number on?
How he knows him, I have no idea.
I'm telling you, maybe Richarlison got connections I don't know about. He did say he's a street kid.
Yeah, but he did recant his statement.
Okay.
Then we got a response on Instagram from Vinicius Jr. And I'm going to read some of it because he went hard. I think Caesar might have cried when he read it or when he heard it. Vinicius said weeks ago some people started to criticize my dancing. Wait. Um, okay, no. When Bravo said that, Vinicius said, accepted, respected. In any case, I will not stop. And then he said, talking about like the dancing, he said, weeks ago, some people started to criticize my dancing, but the dancing is not mine alone. He said they belong to Ronaldinho, Neymar, Paqueta, Griezmann, Joao Felix.
I was screaming this in a group chat. I'm like, that's
What
funny.
about, yeah.
You're talking to your own player does it, but all right, go off.
Yeah, I don't know why he mentioned Mateus Cunha. I'm like, has he ever scored a goal? But okay.
Whoa.
He said Brazilian funk singers, samba dancers, Latin reggaeton singers, Canadian. No, I'm just joking.
Canadian house music DJs.
Yeah, Latin reggaeton singers and Black Americans. He said there are dances to celebrate the cultural diversity of the world. They say that the happiness of a Black Brazilian being successful in Europe bothers much more.
Damn.
I think he was talking to you, Caesar, about that Rodrigo stuff, actually.
Oh, no. Rodrigo's India, don't assume his race.
Okay. And he said a little bit more, and then there were a lot of players that came out in support of him. And obviously this was after Koke was saying like, oh, if Vinicius Jr. dances, then there's going to be trouble for him, whatever. There were a lot of players that came out in support of him. The one that was the most shocking to me was Falcao, who came out in support of Vinicius Jr., saying that that me and you are together until the end.
That's what I got goosebumps. Don't say that. That's so cute. Falcao's a goddamn sweetheart, dude. I love
like,
him.
look at Falcao. Like,
I love him, dog.
Like maybe I got a chance with him.
Oh my god, what? Maybe he wants to be a Toronto Bay.
He should. He was not good at United, but
okay, so let's go into the Atletico Real Madrid match. Sadly, the day of the match, Atleti fans were outside of the stadium before the match singing a song calling Vinicius Jr. a monkey.
Sadly, are we surprised? No, we're not.
Not surprised. No. I blame Pedro Bravo, but also I blame Koke.
I blame Koke for that too.
Yes.
You're the captain of the team. You can set you set the precedent for the ultras, like when you do this stuff.
Yeah, like I feel like you already seen the dude come out like calling him a monkey. Like, why are you even like saying anything about Vinicius Jr. at that point to make him a target? But maybe that's what Koke wanted. It was really funny. I don't know if you guys were like watching any of the what they were talking about. Obviously, the match ended 2-1, and Real Madrid obviously was going to win. I guess when Vinicius Jr. tried that rainbow in the match, it was just really funny to see the ESPN FC people try to like give the fans a pass. They're like, oh, we don't know if they're saying tonto or mono. We don't know. We couldn't really tell.
Like, what? Come on, I'm just dog.
Like, dog, like they're already calling him a monkey before. You think now they're like, oh, inside we're not going to call him a monkey.
No, and it's funny because why would that be ever the time to take a defensive position on the fans that just did racial chants? I think that it's like, I think Kate Murray's initial comment was really good, where she talked about like she broke the news, they talked about it. But it's funny seeing all the other guys on there, the whole panel of losers, just kind of like play like that middleman approach to it. And when you play the middleman approach to what already happened in terms of racial behavior, like racist behavior by fans, you're pandering to them. You're giving them the benefit of the doubt when they broke the benefit of doubt already by doing racist chants. It doesn't work like that. If so, it's like you can't do that, especially when it's been 45 minutes since they were just doing that. It's so weak to me.
Holly, when y'all do racist chants at the Toronto FC matches, do y'all ever?
Well, first of all, I'm not Toronto FC fan. Don't be saying that, dog.
No, like Holly, like what did you see some of that too or no?
Yeah, like I was watching the game and I saw like what was going down, and then when you guys broke that it had broke that it happened earlier in the match, before the match too. It's just like, well, ESPN FC, I don't even know what they shouldn't be giving. There should be no benefit of the doubt. Like how this is happening, and there's never any um like consequences for it. It just like it blows my mind. And just going back to Koke quickly, like you're right. Like I will blame him and say he started this. Like this, he knew what he was saying, and like you said, the ultras crazy fans are gonna look to him and you know take his words into action, or even like other teammates like saying that if you do this you're gonna like that's a threat. And like retroactively, if something did happen to Vinny that game because of what Koke had said, like there should have been like I would hope there would have been action taken on Koke and the player who did it, whether it was an actual like red card offense or whatever, like that, that there was clear intent there. And you know, I was reading or I was like listening to ESPN's Monday episode, and the fact that there were statements made about that game and the racial chants before and during the game, but it took 48 hours for those to come out. When you knew they happened before the game, they happened during the game.
You mean from Atleti?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took him 48 hours.
48 hours there were several statements made, but from Atletico Madrid, it took 48 hours. And like that, when you should have known, like they should have known going into that, sadly, that something was most likely going to happen. So I don't know, like things happen in La Liga a lot and there's never really much done. They say they're going to do these things. They say they're going to find the people outside of the stadium because it's easier to find them outside with all the cameras and stuff. And they're going to, like that. It's really not enough.
No. The Atleti said they're going to expel the people. They kept on saying the minority of people that did that.
Yeah, the minority of their fans.
They said they're going to expel them forever. The mayor
I want proof that it's not the minority.
I want proof that you're actually going to do it. The mayor of Madrid, who's also an Athletic fan, he was saying that it was unacceptable, and he was like speaking out against it, but he's questionable.
Is he saying that only because he's a fan of the team and people know he's a fan of the team, so he has to make a statement?
I think he's trying to like save face because he got some issues out there in Madrid. I was doing a little reading on him.
Don't let damn deep dive on a mayor in Madrid.
Don't let me do it. Don't let me do it.
Don't give me a reason.
Cutting deals.
Yeah.
But it's just really unfortunate. And yeah, Holly, like you said, like we've seen this happen many times in Spain. I remember when Espanyol fans were monkey chanting Iñaki Williams, and it was a big, like, I think the prime minister at that time spoke about it, and it was a big deal. But I feel like this one's just a little bit different because you have like one of the big stars, a big international star, well, like a burgeoning star, I guess, and you have a player like targeting him, like, and not targeting him like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna say this right now. I wish this type of energy, like Koke is mad about, if Vinicius Jr. scores, like that's his job. Like, how come none of this like energy is ever for somebody like Zlatan? Like Zlatan is like violent and like out here like trying to hurt people on the field, like elbowing them on purpose and kicking people. And you've never seen this kind of energy for Zlatan. You hear all about Neymar showboating, and now you're hearing about Vinicius Jr. showboating, and I'm sure every other Brazilian player they say that about. But I've never heard like these people have like disgust about someone like Zlatan, who is like, I've seen, like, you see these videos of Zlatan like cocking back and like elbowing somebody as hard as he can on the pitch, not even getting caught for it.
Not even getting an assault charge, by the way.
Yeah, like
you assaulted somebody, dog.
Kicking the shit
out
of
that, I get literally arrested.
Yeah, like kicking people on purpose.
Yeah.
Kicking people in practice, like getting into fights with people, and you never hear. And then also just like his attitude, like the way he speaks about himself. How come that's never really like brought up as somebody who is like not an example of how a footballer should be. But if you get on the pitch and you nutmeg somebody and then hold the ball for a little bit, when literally that dude doesn't even need to be there anymore because you're going backwards. Now it's like, hey, Stevie's got to be like, nah, if you do that, like somebody should come kick you. Like, what? But why? It is that old school mentality. And I feel like these people aren't doing anybody any favors by keeping that mentality alive. If that's how it was in the 80s and the early 90s, that's cool. Y'all couldn't play. Like, y'all weren't good athletes out in England, really? In Italy? You're going to tell me in 1981 that there's 3 good athletes in Italy? No, dude, I'm sorry. Y'all were good for there, okay? Like, now we got good athletes. Like, we got people that are like training from a young age. They don't need to have that mentality that if somebody gets the better of me, I should go like try to hurt them. If somebody gets the better of you, then you try to do it back, or you just like try to win the game and you can scoreboard them.
What's the famous line? It's like, oh, just get it back, get one back, get one back. Like
Yeah.
if if something happens, like if the defender gets the ball from you or the defender passes you, you'd be like, oh, I'll make up for it next play. I got to get that back.
Imagine if that was the case in basketball, if that was the culture. You get crossed up and stuff all day in basketball.
You know what?
If it was the culture in basketball that if somebody like crosses you up or gets by you, that you're supposed to like punch them, there wouldn't be a sport anymore.
There was a discussion about this in basketball 2 years ago, when they talked about when a team is up by like 15 points and then there's a fast break, the dunk or whatever, and there was players that were younger that were like upset about older players like hitting them and stuff and punching them. The younger players literally were like, that's crazy because like maybe you shouldn't have let me dunk then. Like maybe you should have not let me pass your or I'm playing to the end of the game. I know you gave up because you're down by 15, but I'm still playing and the clock is still running. So there's like that obviously age and like culture shift between like the early 2000s players and the 2010s, and that happens in soccer too. A lot of it, I think, even Vinicius video address where he talked about kind of he basically like lightly mentioned that there's always been like this like interesting like attitude towards like Brazilian players like in Europe and how they act and behave.
He said black
Brazilian players like
black like me, not like you.
I remember years ago when I first was kind of getting Bam. Okay, when I first started talking to Bam, already causing division in the conversations with United. I can respect that. When Neymar first went to Barcelona, I remember talking to you years ago about how the media would like be super hatred against him and like players were taking him out, beating him up. And I remember I was talking to you about that, and you had been like, oh, like what was his stats like? I told you a stats, you're like, that's really good. Like, because like the initial perception is highlighting things that aren't even a negative. That game Vinicius did in 24 minutes, they won 4-1. Like, and that time it was 0-0. Like, what is even the discussion here? If Real Madrid is down 0-2 and you know he's walking back slowly, that's been argued about here on the podcast on that weird year Neymar had 2 years ago where he was kind of wilding out, like where the team was playing bad. That becomes a discussion. I'm like, dog, your game is negatively affecting your team's rhythm. But this team just won it all last year. They won a double, and like they can win literally 5 this year if they're able to. So your arguments are not based upon field or play. They seem to be based upon race to me because you don't have anything else to draw from. You don't draw from anything legitimate. Not stats because he's 27 goals last year, not wins. So what are you getting this from? That's all I want to know. And we kind of see right there. And Koke's absolutely responsible for it. Like I agree with you.
Holly, you think it's racist?
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to agree with us.
I do think it is though. Like there's no other way to put it. Like you said, like Griezmann does all this stuff. The way you talked about Zlatan, how he says, the way he talks about himself in third person, calling himself a lion among sheep, all this stuff, like it's all like it's fun and games. He a lot of the time like he backs that stuff up, but why isn't that ever an issue? Why is it never talked about? Vini did a nutmeg or a wraparound, whatever he did, and his game other than that backs up his his skills. Like it's not like, yeah, like you said, he's doing things to waste time, or it doesn't work because he's being selfish on the ball or something like that. Like there was no, it was absolutely not justifiable for them to have discussed it that hard. Like there was no real reason to. Either they're lacking, like there's other stuff you could talk about. You're not lacking content there.
No.
So the fact that ESPN FC went so hard into it, and then Koke, all his stuff before the game, like it was 100% driven on, like it was racially driven. It had nothing to do with anything else.
And I never thought I'd see the day where I agreed with Sid Lowe. That was crazy. Like,
Yeah.
literally, Sid Lowe was like, "This is dumb. I don't even know why we're talking about this. Like, literally, you can't do this. You can't throw these kind of accurate threats out there. It's inconsistent. It's not right." And yeah, like
Sid Lowe is saying, like, no, like you shouldn't be taking out a player because he got a move off on you. Like, and all the other guys are like, well, you didn't play, so you don't understand.
Yeah. Alejandro was like, Moreno was like fence sitting. He was sitting on the fence, and then Steven was like, no, like, okay, dude. Like, he's
no,
like,
dude,
oh.
like
He was saying basically like a ton of players would agree with him that you can't do something like that. I'm like, what?
well, even if that's the case, like
That's
that's
not right,
bad.
though. That's a
bad.
culture you need to change within your sport.
Yes. Yeah, because like I'm saying, like, yeah, if that's what y'all did in the 80s, and it actually is funny to hear these guys talk about like how the players now wouldn't last back then, but only because of fouls. Like literally they're talking because it was more physical back then, they wouldn't last. I'm like, can you imagine Kyle Walker in 1979? Like this dude is gonna run circles around everybody. Like,
just know when they bring this stuff up, it's all BS.
Because it is ego. It's their ego.
Because it's all ego based, and when you get old, you have a short term memory, and you have no videos to back up of you getting mixed up out there, right? Because they used to say that way back in the 50s about South American teams, like, oh, they do their things in their league, and Pele and Maradona can do that, but they'll never have that kind of success when it comes international or they come to Europe. Maradona went to Europe, was saucing up everybody. The World Cup competition opened. Brazil was dominating. Uruguay dominated. Argentina dominated. There was always like this archaic mentality that like the game that we started playing in 1899 up until 1940, it's more dominant, and they're playing the wrong way over there. You started integrating the sport into everybody else. They started getting mixed up way back in the 50s. So it's like you need to learn how to adapt and change, or you just get lost with the times anyways. I think that I wanted to circle back real quick what you said earlier about Koke. A lot of times, like when a celebrity or artist induces a riot, you get charged in America for that. You get charged if you're like, you start getting the crowd all fired up and they start stomping on people, whatever.
Except if you're Trump.
Except for your Trump, that's different. They were down to do that. So, anyways, no, he might still get in trouble. But like, if Koke started some, let's say if Vinicius was a crossbar away from a goal. The reason Valverde scored was because of Vinicius' play, where he went 900% speed and hit the crossbar and went to Valverde scored. If Vinicius scored, celebrates, does a Griezmann dance on my dad, and they go nuts because they were already throwing water bottles before that, and then to do a stadium announcement saying, "Hey, stop throwing stuff on the field." If they charge a riot, Koke, you're liable for a riot right there, dog, because you amped up people to take action that was not previously privy to the public. Like, that's literally on you, dog. So we got to stop having things that can cause illegal and hurting and to people. That's literally a game where you kick a fucking ball around on the grass. Like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Holly, in your days of playing, did you ever see that? Like somebody like get a move off on somebody and somebody come tackle them or something like that? Or did you ever do it? Keep it real.
Did I? Yeah. No, I don't defend.
Oh, you're like Caesar.
Duh.
Someone gets past me, I'm like, I'm not chasing that.
It'll come back.
Yeah. I'll get it.
Bam, got
time.
it.
Yeah.
There you go.
But no, I've never seen that. I've never, like, sure, you get mad if someone makes a move off you, or you get a little discouraged maybe, but not to the point of a violent act. or a violent threat. Like, I don't know.
You
It
never
just,
seen somebody else like on your teams or somebody on another team like do that though?
no, I don't think so.
Y'all are too nice. Y'all are nice up in Canada. Hockey culture, they're gonna do that.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
hockey's
hockey.
outrageous.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy about how Vinicius Jr. responded to everything initially, like on Instagram.
I was really impressed, honestly.
Yeah,
I
he did.
didn't expect that from him. That was really impressive.
Yeah, he did a great job. It took a long time for Neymar to declare his blackness, and look, Caesar. Look, we gotta keep it real. Neymar. It took January 2020. I mean, it took June 2020, and somebody allegedly calling him a name like maybe.
He's like, okay, I'll say it. I'm black. Damn it.
Yeah,
Look,
like
guys.
literally. Holly, we had an episode maybe like a month before, like, is Neymar black?
It's like our most viewed episode ever, dog. It's so funny.
Because he came out with like some fake dreads, remember? He like had some fake dreads. We're like, what's going on here? Then he like took him out a week later.
It was just weird because he went from buzz cut to dreads. It was
Yeah.
really unusual.
And
It
then
was
like
quite the growth.
somebody called him a name allegedly, and then he's like, hey, I'm black, by the way. I'm
Then he
like,
never
"Oh."
wore dreads again.
Yeah.
No,
But no, I'm really happy that Vinny responded like that. Like I think he was very mature in that way. And he's obviously he's a very young player still. I think that in the match itself, like he didn't get rattled by it, you know. Not to say like he played an amazing match, but it
No.
wasn't like he was rattled from like all the pressure. You know what I mean?
I like to give players that have some kind of outside influence, I like to give them a little bit of a pass when they have the game coming up, as like if like obviously it would have been even different if he just scored that. Like he didn't get the score and that's
Yeah.
fine, but it's like he was dealing with a lot. Like, dog, you
No, he
played
had
good,
he had a good
fine.
game. He had a good game.
He did some, of course, he did some plays. I think he's just feeling the pressure of the moment, whatever. You know, he's doing the rainbow, whatever. I think he's just kind of feeling it. And I'm like, go ahead, dog. Like, they like to say in Brazil, like play free, and like I
Yeah.
think he played free, and I think
Yeah,
that's
he did.
important. Like he played free, that's good. I didn't want him to feel like I gotta worry about what
Held
my
back.
next move is. Yeah. He played free, and that's what you want all players to feel, because no one outside of those grounds with your coach can tell you how or what to play like. And I'm glad he feels that way.
No, he played fine. Like he played a decent match.
Yeah. I
but
mean,
it's
they
just-
won.
I'm sorry.
They won, and he created an opportunity to score, so that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, let's keep it in South America, guys.
No.
Caesar's favorite player. It's come out that he might. Well, you know what? I don't know how Caesar's going to feel about this actually. But Caesar's favorite player of all time and Holly's, Lionel Messi. It's come out his demands that he wanted to stay at Barcelona. It got leaked. These were his conditions to renew his contract in 2020. Now, I'm gonna say allegedly one time, because I mean whatever, but let's look at it. This is what he wanted. This is what he presented to. Okay, all right. See you later. Oh, the cat can't get up there? Okay, interesting.
He's tired now.
This is what what's his name? Messi and his people presented to the former chair Bartomeu, which ultimately led to Bartomeu getting fired. I feel like Bartomeu's getting vindicated a little bit. So Messi wanted his contract to extend to 2023 with the possibility of unilateral extension. So the extension is on Messi, not the team. Interesting. He wanted a fixed salary at 20%. Okay, this is kind of hard to say. A 20% reduction of the fixed salary in 2020, 2021, recovering 10% of that salary in 21, 22, and the other. Okay, so he wanted 20% reduction for that year's salary, but he's going to gain 10% the next year and another 10% next year.
He incurs interest basically.
But no, actually. So he's getting the 20% back in the next 2 seasons, but with 3% interest per year.
This dude has some mega lawyers. God damn.
Payment payment of outstanding loyalty bonuses with interest, a box at the Camp Nou for his family and Luis Suarez's family,
Big besties. Okay.
a private Christmas flight for his whole family, and a private jet flight to Argentina for his whole family every year.
That was the rule. That was the bottom line. Like, no way.
Yeah, that was line crossed.
Yeah, too much.
Okay, in case of termination of contract, which would be on him, payment of the deferred amounts in the 2020-2021 season plus interest, a signing bonus of 10 million euros to be paid on June 2023. This was the one that kind of threw me. Remuneration increase in the event of a tax increase. So if Spain's taxes go up, his money goes up. Elimination of the termination clause, which will be set at 10,000 euros. So if he eliminates, like if he is done with the contract, it's only 10,000 euros he has to pay, as opposed to, I'm sure it would be a lot. Because yeah, like teams have to pay a lot to like break a person's contract to buy him out the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Some dude named Pepe Costa, his renewal so that his contract would last as long as Messi's.
Eyeball emoji.
Yeah.
Pepe Costa.
Yeah, I looked him up. I'm like, he just like seemed like some guy that's hanging around. But I guess he had a role at the club, but I don't like. But it seemed like he's like one of Messi's entourage. And then signing of a commitment by the club to pay Rodrigo Messi the commissions owed to him, which I think that's his dad, right? Rodrigo Messi.
Yeah. His dad is his manager.
Yeah. So he's saying that y'all owe my dad money and y'all need to pay it. Which is also interesting because if that's your manager / agent, why would the club owe him money and not you? Like the player pays their agent, not the club.
No, but if you sign bonuses and stuff like that, if you like sign agents can get portions of that as well too.
Yeah, but you get paid from the player, not from the club. So I don't know, like, sure. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to say.
Man City, when they signed Holland, a portion of it went to the agent, Raiola, and the other portion, or Raiola's agency team directly. Then the other one went directly to Holland and him.
That's crime.
I know, but that's
literally organized crime. So that's some of the clauses that Lionel Messi wanted. I want to know, Caesar, how you feel about that.
Me first?
Yeah. Because Ollie's looking up something right now.
Caesar I'm also reading through his demands. I read it earlier, but I was just reading it again. But go ahead, Caesar.
Caesar is a labor rights activist. I'm pro-union, pro. This is the first good news I've ever heard about Messi in my entire life that I've cared about. Do I want a player to destroy a team with a salary? Yeah, if the team's dumb enough to sign it, my friend. If you sign that, that's your own fault that you're imploding. That's not Messi's fault. Messi knows his value. We know his value. So it's like, look, dog, I'm not mad at Messi. That's the first time I've been like, go off. Like, if you, what they say, you get what you don't ask for. So he went for it, and they said no, which, good Lord, they couldn't even have said yes if they wanted. The Bank of Spain, which was robbed by the famous Netflix TV show Casa de Papel, when they robbed it, they said, don't give this money to Barcelona. There's no way you can afford this. There's not enough assets in Spain to fund this, but definitely some lawyer mathematics going on there. They went off. They were, talking about Spain's insane tax thing. And going that and talked about, I'll take less money now, but I want this plus interest in the future. Like, he was like, everybody else, you guys can finesse like Piqué and not pay him for 35 million. When you do that to me, it hurts you more. So you might as well pay me now because it's going to be worse down the line. Actually, I don't know if those guys have those kind of structures in their contract. I would hope so if they're taking money, like taking cuts this season to get paid later, like Busquets. I hope they have those percentages back in the future. I really hope so because they're owed all those wages. Crazy. But yeah, I'm glad that it's funny that it's good to see that Messi was going for that insane demands. But like I said, it's a coming on the club to accept or not. Clearly, they didn't accept it. There's rumors about them wanting to bring him back, and Laporta saying, I want to do what I can. That could just be media jarble, but you kind of we're seeing the terms here. If they bring him back, people are gonna have discussions going. Are you giving him this now? Because where is really this
Why
money
is he coming
once
back?
again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holly, do you feel like this is coming out is somewhat damaging to Messi's reputation as someone who like has that love for Barcelona?
You see, what I was a bit shocked about when I read these demands, just because Messi seems like such a quiet, like, person. Like, you don't really hear much about him other than, like, some tax evasion here and there and some other stuff like that. But like, he's not as very loud and out there as, like, let's say, like Ronaldo, or like you always know what Ronaldo's getting down to and stuff like that. So I kind of was shocked about the demands. And apparently I was reading that they were only they only refused to cater to two, which was the lowering of his release clause, sorry, and the some sort of signing bonus. You guys
Everything else
laughing?
is good though. Hey.
Yeah, everything.
Messi's like, no way, bro. I'm out.
And but it kind of makes sense if you really think about it. I don't know, back in 2020, I was a bit like shocked or confused that when all these rumors started circling that Messi was going to leave, and then he was so like undecided for a while, and then he sat down and had that interview, said, no, I'm going to stay for what only ended up being for one more year. So like, is this all like part of the reasons why? Was this the buildup? Was this the start of it? Was this some sort of an excuse to leave? I don't know. That's what was kind of shocking to me, because Messi seemed like a Barcelona for lifer. Like, it never seemed like he was going to leave. So, but to demand all this was a bit shocking to me, because I mean, no matter who you are, I don't think any player would have gotten that.
Well, it seems like there's one thing that Messi loves more than Barcelona, and that's money.
My man
True.
likes that paper.
Like, and it's just funny because of Messi's like quote unquote reputation.
He gets the humble, like modest reputation.
He doesn't get the same type of like shtick as like Neymar when he went to PSG.
Yeah.
Everybody said like, oh, he's going there for the money. But nobody said that about Messi.
That's a great point. Everybody said that
That's
all he wanted to do is, if he's not going to be Barcelona, he's going to play with his best friend. The thing was like, he's going to play with his bestie in PSG. It's all good. No one said like, oh man, he couldn't re-sign to Barcelona. He's just money hungry and disgusting. And then the fans were going nuts on Barcelona. How could you lose him? And it's like, when you look at Hunter, like, dog, how can I sign that?
Bartomeu got fired. Like, he
He
let
lost
go
his job not signing that ridiculous contract.
And it's funny because like, if there's like, I think the most ridiculous thing is that release clause.
Yeah.
You're saying that you get to break the contract
For
whenever
10
you
Gs.
want, and you only got to pay 10,000 euros. Like, no, dude, we already gave you all this shit.
Yeah, and also like if another club tries to break his contract, it's multi-millions on the clause break. So it's like, so the buyout clause is multi-millions for the club, but you just walk up and go 10 Gs, what you make, that's 10% of your weekly salary. You could just say, I'm good.
Less than that.
Chump change. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really funny, and because like there are strong narratives in football media. Like, it's really easy for football media to create a narrative about a player. Like I was saying about Zlatan, like, it's all like fun and games. Like, it's not like, oh, that's just Zlatan. Whereas like they could have made a narrative about him that he's like violent and egotistical. They didn't give him that reputation. With Messi, he's had this reputation, like, yeah, no, that's like a pure footballer right there. Like, he's not like these other guys. But it's very obvious, if these things are true, that is not the case. Like he is, and I'm not mad at him. Like
No,
it's your career. You're gonna be retired at like 37 at the latest. You got to make as much as you can. But if that's who you are, like if you're like, no, I'm trying to get paid as much as possible, and like I don't really care what's happening with the club, like that's who you are, dude. That's what people realized about Kobe Bryant later in his career. He wanted all the money and he didn't care what happened with the Lakers. And
yeah.
that's what that like, yeah, that's who he is.
But the
Messi's-
difference was that they took that leap. Lakers took the leap that Barcelona wasn't willing to do with that restructured contract.
Well, yeah, they probably were able to, and
Yeah, they win more
not.
money, but yeah.
So like, it's
No.
just funny. Like I know that it's not going to change his reputation,
No.
but it should. It is unfair that it won't, because there's going to be players like there's going to be a lot of like if Vinicius Jr. leaves Real Madrid and goes to PSG, they're going to be like, he did it for money.
That's literally absolutely the next day. They'll be like, he wasn't looking to be successful, or he's looking for more money.
What did they say about Mbappe re-signing with PSG? Look how much money they're giving him.
They're calling him what do they call him, like money Bappe or something?
Yeah, PayPal.
PayPal. They're calling him PayPal and stuff. It's really good nicknames. PayPal is a great name, but no, like and you could tell that Messi has used that power of his security in the fandom and media. He has so much security of his image and brand in the media as a negotiation as well too, because he's like, it's either like you guys either take this or not, because no matter what I do, I'm good, but you guys are gonna lose. You take this financially, you get destroyed. You don't take this, everybody's mad at you for not bringing me back on a team. So like, why don't you just bring me back or whatever? Like he gets so much power because he is kind of like literally untouchable, unless it's like some egregious, horrific crime. Then Messi is pretty much untouchable in terms of his moves and decisions within soccer. When other players do not have that levity at all. And I think another player who kind of has that freedom as well too is Zlatan. Has a lot of that like security too, where he can kind of go where he wants, because he has that persona of, oh, I just go to all these different teams and I win the league title there, or whatever. So like, he gets that, but like other players who would do that, it'd be seen as journeyman or like money hungry or whatever. And I think that's actually really interesting. That when I came out, I was reading the thread on Twitter. I'm like, that's absolutely nuts. Like, but like Bam said, I'm not like all the way mad at him all the way, but it just kind of sucks that he gets that like invincibility around him.
Holly, is his reputation, is his image changing for you, or no? You still love him?
I mean, it's not like I'm a huge fan
Oh, okay.
of him, or like, I'm not like a worshiper of him, but
Who's
like
your favorite player?
ever.
Sure. Don't say Wayne Rooney.
No, I don't know. Probably Robin Van Persie.
Okay.
RVD, this is what has one of the best headers I've ever seen live in my life.
Yeah, the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, incredible.
One of the
Great player.
best.
Bam loves him. The only lefty Bam likes.
But does it change? Yeah, I don't know if it completely changes my thoughts on him. Like I said, I was pretty shocked. It was pretty out there. All
Does it
those
seem a
things,
little
but
grimy to you? Is it a little grimy?
it's a bit grimy. It's a
Ooh.
bit like, shall I say, scumbagish?
Ooh.
I mean, like
Holly
just a
getting
little bit.
comfortable. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Just a little bit. Like, am I ready to call him a complete scumbag? No, but there was tendencies there. So-
Scumbag tendencies.
He's not a
Yeah.
scum lord. He's not a scum lord yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, honestly, for me too, I was like, damn, dude. Like, I don't know. It just seems like you're a player. You're later in your career. Your team has not been like that successful lately. You would think that you would guess that with like when you're guessing who Messi is based on the narrative around him, this isn't what he'd be doing.
Mhm.
And the fact that he did, it's like the fact that he was demanding this, like just imagine what his contract was before that. It wasn't like it couldn't have been that much farther from this. And we've seen Barcelona get mollywopped in the Champions League it was like past 4 years or something like that. It was embarrassing. And it didn't seem like he cared. Their players were like bad before then. Like they were like, it was like, dude, like y'all are kind of washed right now. And he's just like, no, I'm gonna take all the money. The funny thing is how me and Caesar were vindicated because we were saying this whole time Messi took all the money, and that's why Barcelona is not that good. And it seems like that was the case.
My man definitely had a stranglehold on the money there. It was
Yeah.
definitely he held on to money. And then of course the year after he left, they had like all the people protesting, so the seats were hella empty. So I'm like, damn, they're really making no money right now. They're just suffering, dude.
Who are they coming out for? They're not coming out for Memphis Depay.
No, I would.
Okay. Should we talk about Russia getting banned from the Euros, or do y'all not care? Keep it real. I feel like Caesar's over it.
I feel like I'd be shocked if they weren't banned.
Yeah, it's more of a shock. That
Sorry,
was a
dog.
shock.
They're literally ramping up troops. You don't get to play. They just ramped up 300K. Think I didn't see that this morning? Nah, dog, you don't get to play.
But it's 2 years from now. What if they stop the war 2 years from now?
Then we'll talk about it later. Then they can do an elimination playoff game against Ukraine. I'm just kidding, dog.
Oh,
What kind of
I'm just
elimination?
kidding.
What kind of elimination? Dog?
No, stop. No. Down?
They were banned from they were banned from Champions League, Europa, and Europa Conference League.
When I was the only Russia highlights is this Brazilian channel gives me random Brazilians playing Zenit, and I'm like, they still playing games out there because you get no coverage, big dog. What is the money? What's going on?
Kent the Balde plays for Spartak Moscow.
I literally forgot where he went, but I'm done with him forever, so I don't care where he plays.
Yeah, well, he also got a doping ban too.
He did?
Yeah,
Like doping, like steroid doping, or like he tested
doping.
positive
Yes,
for marijuana.
doping. They said the bleach in his skin has dope. No,
Oh,
I made him faster or something like that. Whatever.
Anyway, well, we made up. There was also a racism incident in MLS, but I was like, I don't want to do like 2 racism stories in a row. But I guess like some dude on DC United called a player on Inter United a naughty word that might start with an N. But I guess they
Wasn't there a fight too?
Wayne Rooney took him out the match, and so like they were satisfied.
Wasn't there like a fight too or something like that?
That was LA Galaxy. It wasn't much of a fight. It was funny though.
That was a good clip.
But anyway, how you still looking something up?
no,
Tell us.
I'm looking at you.
It looks like you're reading.
I'm always trying to see what someone's doing on their screen. dog.
Absolutely. Anyway, we made a podcast, episode 272. You know what I mean? We'll be back next week. We got what is it, an international break right now?
England hasn't played. English players haven't played in years. They're too busy in 19-minute queue lines to see the Queen. Yeah.
We'll see if Holly, do you care about UEFA Nations League or what? I don't know.
No, not really. But Canada's playing some friendlies.
Oh, who they playing?
First Qatar and then Uruguay.
Okay. Well, you know who I'm going
They're playing
for.
Qatar in Vienna. Remember I told you guys they're
Yeah.
playing a
They went to go
I
scoop
think
on some
that's
of the.
cool.
They went to
Y'all
go
are
scoop
weird.
on some of the jerseys. They went to get some of those jerseys. They're like, "What's up with the Vienna kids again? We got to come up for those real fast."
I think it's cool they're playing out there. That's dope.
No, Vienna. I heard Vienna sucks. I don't think they're gonna have a good time there.
People all over the world
What?
go to Vienna.
Yeah, but everybody else did whatever though. But yeah, that's so random. Like you're
It's
like you're
pretty
not.
random.
What's up with that?
You're giving the
Is
young
that a
guys.
halfway point or something? Like
Who
mean, kinda.
Vienna is like, oh my god, thank God Canada came to play, bro. I've been waiting. Uruguay finally. Like,
You get to show your young people something different. You know what I mean? Like it's all good. Let them go out there.
yeah, I'm down.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of friendlies. I'm still trying to find out where the Brazil friendlies are going to be taking place at. Neymar almost got injured, but it was just a cut during practice. He's testing me. He's like, Caesar, again?
How about next week we do some World Cup predictions? Can we do it next week or the week after next?
Okay. If we do it though, we're gonna make it the World Cup prediction episode.
Okay. So maybe we'll wait.
We'll wait.
I mean-
we're gonna do our classic. We're gonna get the bracket out. We're gonna do the whole thing. Let's do the whole thing, dog.
Okay.
Let's get the brackets and we'll do our picks and we'll go serious.
Okay. We'll do that. Well,
And
because
we'll take it to DraftKings.com. Just kidding.
okay, because it's internet. It's like a international break, so there won't be like that much to talk about probably. So we can do it next week.
all right.
All right. Also, Holly, I think Memphis Depay is going to break Robin van Persie's record with the Netherlands this year
I think so too.
because he has 42 goals. Robin van Persie has 50,
Mhm.
and I think he's gonna. You know what I'm saying?
Highest
Yeah,
scoring,
I can
one
see
well, second place, right?
He's tied in second place. Yeah.
Number one is okay. I thought number one was George what's his name? Right, Cruyff? No.
No.
Oh
It is
wow,
Robin van
that's
Persie.
crazy numbers.
Robin van Persie will be a forgotten man after.
Hope he coaches Ajax.
If it is, he does have a Moroccan wife though, which I think is cool. Anyway, we made a podcast episode 272. Holler.